I'm going to play this clip of John Brennan, former head of the CIA, deep stater, where they know they can't hide this anymore. So they then admit they've got it. They want to roll it out. They want to make it public.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels.
InfoWars, tomorrow's news today.
All right, I wanted to get to this piece because we've talked about this some, and you can just type in Council on Foreign Relations, geoengineering, Bill Gates funding, weather manipulation, exactly the patterns we found, exactly the airlines don't even really know except the executives. They had aluminum salts, barium. They had all this stuff to the engines and the gas. It's kerosene, basically. You think of jet fuel as explosive. It's not. It's actually lighter burning than gasoline. And it then aerosolizes and creates increased nuclei. So yes, it's actually ice crystals out behind, but there's nuclei in cloud seeding to create it. So I remember oh man, it was like 20 years ago, I was getting calls. This one guy was running a DARPA program, and he said, I can't tell you everything, but it's secret. But these Doppler antennas we're putting in around the country under a federal grant so that, quote, everybody has tornado watch. They said the power is 10 to 20 times what you need for Doppler. And they said, I don't know if I can say the guy's name, I shouldn't. He's actually been on the show, but the point is, they're using it to fry the atmosphere with these aluminum dioxides and bariums and salts. And I'm like, okay, you're crazy. This is like 24 years ago. I'm on air, and I've got guys that got engineering degrees pulling up. They're giving me all this stuff at the station. And then a decade later, Dubai has the exact same antenna arrays, and it says they're turning the desert green with these, and it's going on. So I wanted to bring Mike Adams in, who's an engineer and scientist, about this, because I'm going to play this clip of John Brennan, former head of the CIA, deep stater, where they know they can't hide this anymore. So they then admit they've got it. They want to roll it out. They want to make it public. But other governments don't like it. Well, yeah, we have a treaty. So everything he's saying is knowing that the audience of actual controllers know what's happening. But he's basically talking about the problems without saying the specifics of them. But when you know the facts, it's incredible. So I never knew this video existed. I knew that there were speeches he gave and others gave, CFR.org. But I didn't know he'd given the speech. So here's just part of it.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels. This process is also relatively inexpensive. The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly. As promising as it may be, moving forward on SAI would also raise a number of challenges for our government and for the international community. On the technical side, greenhouse gas emission reductions would still have to accompany SAI to address other climate change effects, such as ocean acidification, because SAI alone would not remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. On the geopolitical side, the technology's potential to alter weather patterns and benefit certain regions of the world at the expense of other regions could trigger sharp opposition by some nations. Others might seize on SAI's benefits and back away from their commitment to carbon dioxide reductions. And as with other breakthrough technologies, global norms and standards are lacking to guide the deployment and implementation of SAI and other geoengineering initiatives. Now, I could go on and on and on and on about the things that fascinate me, but rather than talk about them, I thought I'd stop here and start the conversation with Judy, and then I can take some of your questions. I very much appreciate the invitation to come back here in the Council on Foreign Relations.
Now, I'm out in L.A. I know about the transcripts of these meetings. I didn't know it was actually on C-SPAN. I don't callers always call and go, why did you cover this? I'm not omnipresent. Far from it. But we go to YouTube and it says, this isn't true. There's no geoengineering. So that's the new fact deal. So here's the head of the CIA saying we're doing it. They put a factoid saying it's a conspiracy, it doesn't exist. You guys found it. Put it back up there. So this is what we're talking about, Mike Adams. The insanity of the level that they don't want us to have a debate about this. It's already going on. Wow.
Yeah, look, when John Brennan says it, it's genius science. If you or I say the same thing, stratospheric aerosol injection, then we are labeled conspiracy theorists and fake news. So it's this bubble. And remember, this stratospheric aerosol injection, this is a global dimming initiative to block the amount of sunlight that reaches the Earth, which means you're blocking sunlight from reaching food crops, which means you're going to slow down photosynthesis of all food crops all around the world, which means you're going to lead to global starvation, famine, food supply disruptions. This is the weaponization of famine and starvation worldwide, among other things, to make people dependent on government FEMA camp rescues just to get your food rations. This, and by the way, Alex, if they do this, if they push all this pollution into the atmosphere, and then there is a volcanic eruption that happens, the volcanic eruption,
it's like an adjuvant, it makes it 10 times worse. And let's stop right there.
Exactly.
They already admit respiratory problems, aluminum in the soil is 12 times what it was, the open borders, they're trying to collapse society is what you're saying.
They are.
They admit it. They're collapsing the damn atmosphere.
It is terraforming, Alex. It's terraforming. I've said this before. It's terraforming to prepare Earth for the post-human era. And whatever you want to think that is, there's a lot of theories out there, but it's clear that they do not want humanity to survive, and they're willing to devastate every food web, every ecosystem on the planet in order to accomplish that.
It's morte forming. It's death forming.
Yeah, look, they are a death cult, and John Brennan is part of that death cult. Look at what he did to try to destroy our republic. Look at what he did to President Trump. And of course, he's talking about how much he loves this idea of polluting the atmosphere. So the Green New Deal really is about pollution and death and mass starvation, which would cause mass disease outbreaks to follow. And by the way, in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, there's so much homelessness, needles, and human feces in the streets, they're going to start having sort of 19th century disease outbreaks any day now anyway.
And
actually,
people
it's already
ask,
begun in some way.
People ask, why is it every blue city? Folks, you read the WikiLeaks, collapse of society, collapse of free market, Cloward and Piven. They can't compete with a Judeo-Christian model, open free society, wealth, free market competition. So they're sabotaging it while the mega banks are offshore, tax exempt, Apple, Google, they're all exempt. They are wrecking society. They are psychotics. They can't help it. And great job, Mike Adams, exposing all this. It's biblical. As you said, it's happening now. And we just showed total proof with the head of the CIA, former head, admitting a giant geo-engineering program, not for good, for bad, but that they don't want to admit it because other governments would complain. This is weather weapons. Naturalnews.com, news that your life depends on, my life depends on. Thank you, Mike Adams.
Thank you, Alex. Good to join you.
It's time to show them what a real alpha male looks like with one of our most powerful products ever made, Alpha Power. As you age, your body can lose testosterone over time. With the incredible ingredients in this formula, we can help you beat the test of time and assist in restoring that lost energy and mood that comes with time and age. Alpha Power's incredible ingredients can help you boost your sports performance or enhance your day-to-day life with ease while encouraging hormonal balance. Perfect by itself or with super male vitality in the true Alpha Male Pack. Alpha Power can help boost performance, help maintain normal testosterone levels, support healthy cholesterol, and more. Let Alpha Power help bring you to the peak of your optimal health. Don't fall short on energy in the fight against tyranny. Show the world what a true alpha male looks like today with Alpha Power. Head to InfoWarsStore.com today.